Welcome to episode 2 of season 2, How to Fly to Mercury. Today I want to explain what's happening on next Monday, 11th of November 2019, when Mercury passes in front of the Sun, which is called the Mercury transit. I hope we all agree the Sun is in the center of our solar system and all the planets go around the Sun. Here I've drawn the Sun, and this is Mercury orbit, and the Earth is outside. So we look to the inner solar system, see the Mercury orbit. And what we see here, the orbit is inclined to the ecliptic by 7 degrees. 7 degrees. The ecliptic, this is the plane where the Earth travels around the Sun. And as I said, the orbital plane of Mercury is inclined by 7 degrees. Half of the time this orbit takes 88 days, so 44 days Mercury is below the ecliptic, and then here it crosses the ecliptic and goes to the north. This point is called the ascending node. If you go from the center of the Sun through this node to the Earth orbit, we arrive here in the Earth orbit where the Earth is in 10th of November. Each year we see Mercury orbit from this angle. So 3 months later, in February, we are moving 90 days in the orbit. 3 months later we look here. So this is the view in February. We have the same orbit here. This is the part above the ecliptic, and this is the part below the ecliptic. This is the 7 degrees inclination. And now I explain a bit the orbit of Mercury. It's not circular, it's a bit eccentric. This part is 46 million kilometers. If you look from the Earth there, this is an angle of 18 degrees in the sky. The furthest point away, the aphelion, is 70 million kilometers, which is 28 degrees from the Sun. And this is nice if you want to observe Mercury in the sky. The Sun is setting and Mercury can be 28 degrees behind the Sun, so Sun is under the horizon and Mercury is still a bit over the horizon. So in February, if Mercury is here in this area, then you can see Mercury nicely in the sky in the evening. So 3 months later, what happens in May? Yeah, here we are behind the Sun. The Sun is here. So in May, we are looking now from the backside to the orbit of Mercury, and also Mercury can pass in front of the Sun. So it's only in November and in May when Mercury transits can happen. But wait, Mercury has to be here in this area. If the Earth is in November here and Mercury is here or there will be no transit. The size of the Sun is half a degree, so it's a bit exaggerated here in this drawing. So the probability that Mercury is just here is quite low. So the probability of a Mercury transit, or the frequency, is not very high. We have only 13 to 14 transits of Mercury per century. So now 11th of November 2019 is a very good opportunity to observe it. The next one will be only in 13 years on the 13th of November 2032. So please take this opportunity now. You can come to the European Space Agency here in Darmstadt to watch it. You have to register at the Facebook page, the German Facebook page of the Europäische Raumfahrtbehörde ESOC or ESA, and you can buy tickets there. Or you go to the next observatory close to your house. It's starting on Monday at 13:35, but please don't use binoculars or your naked eyes. It's very dangerous to look into the Sun. Be careful. What has this all to do with Baby Colombo? Well, when we want to fly to Mercury, we want to basically orbit around Mercury with Baby Colombo. So we have to get really close to this orbit and we have to communicate with our spacecraft. But the Sun has a solar plasma, so here is a lot of plasma around the Sun. And when our spacecraft is behind the Sun and not really close away from the Sun, so in an area of 5 degrees, we have something like 5 degrees angle here. When the spacecraft is in this zone behind the Sun, it's dangerous to send signals there because the signal will be corrupted through the solar plasma and our signals might arrive corrupted. So the communication might not work, and it's dangerous if you want to make a maneuver in this zone. It might not work correctly. That's why we have a 5 degree no maneuver zone. and this is half a degree, 5 degree, this is 10 times larger. So this happens much more often that we are traveling through this zone, and this was a big constraint for our design of the Baby Colombo trajectory, but we find now nice solutions. We could make our maneuvers here on this area and found a perfect trajectory for Baby Colombo. So stay tuned how it works, but first of all, watch for the Mercury transit on Monday.